the universal mother income is a way to bring together all of our best instincts and liberate both men and women and all other genders, which I think has naturally happened with the invention of DNA, paternity tests, in vitro surrogate mothers, with very much the expansion of marriage to include gay and lesbian marriage. And so what I think, I feel the way to come back to the beginning before the patriarchy and be fair and even to everyone and find a way to use what we know, but use it honestly and speak the truth in our lives, the truth to each other, then we monetize the womb. We together, as a society, provide income for mothers so that they raise their children without the need to depend on a man or to abandon the children in order to focus on working, to make money, to support the children, and make motherhood kind of an afterthought. Instead, pay the mother from when she becomes pregnant and support her with free online classes about her health, about childhood, about culture, and support her with a degree if she doesn't have one, and understand, learning about nourishment, cooking, all the things that we're not really taught anymore, because it does take a long time to learn so much that there is to learn in order to fully take care of another human. In the process, what that does is that men are not forced to be the providers. Men are not forced to be the protectors. Men are not forced to stay in a marriage any more than women are forced to stay in a marriage. People who are together, married to each other, don't have to imagine how it would feel if the partner were dead. And they could be free and yet have their home and have their lifestyle, right? And free people from the horror, the trauma, the extreme trauma of divorce, of breaking up family, of breaking up children, time with children, of monetizing everything and deciding who pays whom for what, of spending so much money on lawyers, and of losing home and losing meaning, and losing that sense of belonging in the process. Sometimes irreparably. Sometimes when people marry again and again, it's just a repetition of the same, basically, trauma, trying each time to process it a little better. I can speak about this at length in another podcast, but basically the vision is that the government gets out of people's love lives. The government gets out of marriage. It doesn't really affect marriage at all. It is about the legal meaning of marriage, and particularly the financial meaning of marriage. So it's not even about legal marriage as in terms of health insurance. It's about the financial aspect of it, which monetizes the womb. It gives a price to the woman, to the bride. It unconsciously makes women put themselves up for auction and choose the highest bidder. And it unconsciously makes men choose women who look, in the eyes of most other men, like there will be great breeders or great to mate with. So removing that financial incentive actually makes love be love. And it takes away the falsehoods, yeah, the motivation to lie, to manipulate. When there is no money involved, and if you inherit money, it stays with you, it goes to your children if you want it to. If you make money, it stays with you, it goes to your children if you want it to. So inheritance doesn't change. You can do whatever you want with whatever you have. The money gets out of marriage. So when you marry, you can have a spiritual ceremony, you can have any kind of ceremony, you can make your vows before a priest, or if you are not religious, without a priest, in front of your family, in front of your friends, make any vows you want, have any ceremony you want, and hopefully it will be for life. And if that's the vows you make, then you try to make it for life. And if those are not the vows you make, or if you renew your vows to include something else, that's your choice. You can revisit your marriage, and you can get married a second time. You can refresh your vows. Or you can divorce, also in the same spiritual way. A conscious decoupling. And whatever it is that is true to the heart and is decided together. But if the government gets out of the business of marriage, then people can actually speak their truth and say what they want, and not have reason to cheat, lie, not have financial motivation to be dishonest and untrue, whether it's because they have married and now are cheating, or whether it is that because they've wanted to marry for other reasons and now they feel trapped, but they need the material support, or millions of other complications that happen as a result of this. So the children are supported by everyone, by all of us as a society, and they're not shipped off to daycare. They stay with the mothers during the formative years until they go to school as we know it, where they learn things, and not daycare, and not the TV, and not the iPad. And so there is some supervision that comes with these benefits. If the benefits are not needed, because a woman happens to be the daughter of a millionaire or a multimillionaire, the lawmakers and the legislators can account for that. It is not, those particular things are not part of my message. My message is for you to just take this idea and let it simmer for a while and see if it makes sense for our children. To not force them to take on a role that limits them so much as men or as women. To be free to love, to be free to be with someone, to be free to parent. But the women who give 9 months of their lives to the making of each child and break their bodies, tear their bodies up to birth their child, and then are called to raise the child and nourish the child and put the child first before the father, because it's not their job to look after the father. Should not be their job to wash the father's clothes, or feed the father, or baby the father. It shouldn't be a competition. The women will help make better human beings, more wholesome, more secure, and there will be less drama modeled in front of these young minds and young bodies, and there will be a possibility to be united, to be complete human. and not be split in the home between these two different hierarchies that are always in kind of silent conflict for domination. So the children stay with the mother, and the mother is supported until the children come of age. And that's it. It's so simple. And when it comes to love, where you love, you can be together, you can date, you can marry. I think that cohabitation is not so, it's going to become less necessary during the, full-on mating years, when the woman is focused on her children or on her child, if she only has one. It's still a lot of work, and to do justice to motherhood, if she has a choice, I suspect that, she will choose to take care of her children, and that's about it. And have the time when kids are in school to look after her house and catch up and maybe learn a skill or two, so that when she's able, she can get a job. Or if she doesn't want a job, she may have saved some money, or bought herself a house, or gone out to nature, cultivate her garden, make things, sell them, become a small entrepreneur, move in with a man again, which I'm sure she probably had moved in with a man or other woman in her youth, when she, in her early romances. So, but all these things will play out as they play out, and it's not to me to tell to anyone how to live their lives and what they need to do and how they love. But I think that by simply, as a society, monetizing motherhood, honestly, freeing motherhood from the bondage of not being a full human, we will change everyone slowly to become our better selves and to become better as a society. We will find our equilibrium, and we will grow more respectful of the body and less brutal with it, less eager to, cut it up, change it, stuff it up, augment it, dysmorph it, hurt it for keeping us real. Yeah. So that's it. I love you. Churn with it a little bit.